Hi everyone, this is Josh Krieger. I'm here live at Token 2049. This is a very special episode at Bitlayer's Investor Night, and this is part of a Dubai roadshow that's sponsored by Bitlayer. And tonight we're speaking with Charlie Hu, one of the co-founders, and a dear friend of mine. What's up, Charlie?
What's up, Josh? Good to have you.
It's just good to be here with you, man. And you know, we've been through so much together since we met on that fateful afternoon. I think it was a Saturday afternoon in Venice Beach.
Yeah.
At one of your events, and
From the bear to the bull, huh?
from the bear to the bull. And you know, I've seen you evolve in this space over that time. You've seen us evolve, and I think you were looking for that right something that really got you excited. I saw you in that quest.
Yes.
For a while.
Yes.
And it was like, for those that don't know Charlie, and we'll get to know him together today. And this is, I don't think you've actually been officially on the show, so this is really special for me.
Yeah.
For those that don't know Charlie, he is tenacious, and he is one of the most curious individuals I've ever met. And I felt like you were going to find something special. I didn't know what that thing was. And when you told me what you were doing, it all made sense. So I'm really excited to learn more about Bitlayer and what you're building. Why don't you just start by sharing your vision here?
Sure. First of all, thank you very much, Josh. I really appreciate all the support and help. Super glad to have you guys with us along the journey. I know, being very helpful. You know, I think my vision is all the way from the first principle, right? I've been in the space almost 10 years now. I've done a lot of things, made some mistakes. I'm being scammed by some people as well. I built some stuff and made some contribution to the space early for Polkadot and then for Polygon, and also investing as an investor, investing in FTLA as a product investor and advisor, and a lot of other projects as well. So back to the principle, right? We as an industry for blockchain has been in the space for a while. It's still a young industry, but we have 15 years already. A lot of things happen. So moving forward, if you ask me, what kind of company can survive in 10 years later? I have only two answers. One is a very exciting company called Coinbase, which is very regulated, very professional.
I participated in their stock offering, their IPO.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it must be doing well, right? And then,
it had its ups and downs, but I think it's on the way up. I never sold.
oh, great. That's good to know. Yeah, I think, if it's centralized as an equity company, they are the only one I believe will definitely survive 10 years later. And the other one is Bitcoin. With all due respect for all the other things with Ethereum, I was an ETH builder. You know, I know a lot of proof of stake chain like Solana and so on. A lot of new ones like Barrett chain, kind of doing interesting stuff, right? But if I only can pick one, 100% going to survive 10 years later, that's Bitcoin. So, you know, our slogan in Bitlayer is making history with Bitcoin or for Bitcoin, right? Because that's the only thing I feel like it makes so much sense, and it makes me feel so inspired that there's no other thing which is more important besides making money along the way. Making money is a byproduct, but creating history for the industry, there's nothing more important than doing that for Bitcoin ecosystem, right?
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of conversation around is Bitcoin's dominance decreasing, and does it really provide this store of value? And I think that happens during the bear market, but then ultimately, as the world has gotten more complicated, there's one thing that's true, which is that Bitcoin continues to be one of the highest performing assets of all asset classes in the world, right?
Yes, it's been outperforming every single asset class in the world in the last 15 years. So although there's some bear market, there's some downturn, it's volatile, it's getting more and more stable now, right? Sometimes even more kind of boring, I think a couple of months ago, Bitcoin didn't really move up and down, but it was being so stable, being very boring because people get used to that volatility, right? Yeah, indeed, because of the first principle, the ultrasound money, 21 million hard cap programmed in the code, right? Every 10 to 15 minutes, there's a new block with rewards. There's no other additional supply you can get, right? And there's a lot of Bitcoin in history being just perpetually locked in because some of the wallets, right, that people forgot their private keys or locked in into some of vault and stuff. So the circulation supply of Bitcoin is capped, right? And then whereas the demand in terms of mass adoption, in terms of using Bitcoin to do all kinds of things, is getting more and more. Things really get changed, I think, what I was just sharing on the stage as well. With the Taproot asset upgradation, people can actually put data, creating interesting assets on Bitcoin network, right? And using Bitcoin as a gas fee to do inscription, trading. Bitcoin all of a sudden from this a bit boring ultrasound money, store of value now become, this secure, decentralized, potentially programmable network, right? Whereas native Bitcoin is like the M0 for money market, and now with Bitcoin layer 2 and many other new interesting infrastructure layer can create interesting stuff on top of it.
So that's all great. I mean, the maxis would say, just leave Bitcoin alone. but everyone else in the Bitcoin ecosystem that's not a maxi is pretty excited about the potential to build here. And I'd like to better understand what are you building and why is Bitlayer, in your mind, a vital part of the future?
Yeah, thanks for the question. Before I answer directly on the question, I want to also kind of address the whole maxis perspective, right? So Bitcoin has been very kind of like a holy land, right, for some people. Some people want to protect it. They don't want to see some kind of random weirdness coming along the ways. But it's a free market. Bitcoin has been one of the most decentralized, permissionless network, right? So the miners, the users make the decision collectively as a whole, right? So for people, as long as there's a product market fit, right, it makes sense, right? That's kind of philosophical reason. There's a demand, there's supply, and there's a reason certain things exist, right? Obviously, some laser eyes or some people who are on the conservative side don't want anything happening in Bitcoin except you mine the Bitcoin, put it there storage, for cold wallet, right? Before all of those, though, now the upcoming Bitcoin layer 2 or Bitcoin DeFi, Bitcoin as an asset has been zero interesting asset, with no yield bearing at all, right? Is this really the ultimate destination? Is that actually supposed to be just like that? It's debatable, right? But with ordinals last year, in the beginning, I don't get it either, right? Why we need the Bitcoin NFTs, right? What does it even mean? We have Ethereum NFT doing interesting stuff already. Although people argue, it's JPEG with metadata. You're buying the metadata, not buying the actual JPEG. Bitcoin on ordinals is actually natively inscribed on Bitcoin layer 1, right? So you're buying the true things.
It's immutable.
It's immutable. It's tamper-proof. It's on Bitcoin, which is more valuable than Ethereum. So things like that happen. But that's one thing for me, move the needle. People are willing to spend their hard-earned Bitcoin as a gas fee, even higher than the normal way for trading. They're actually paying additional sats gas fee, doing certain gas rewards, doing certain minting period, doing certain, NFT mint, right? Why? Because they like the assets. Because certain reason of social consensus, because of the culture, because this degenerates, this is going to pump, right? There was some asset that really just increased their volume, value like 100x, even 1,000x, right? So there's certain people generate a lot of more Bitcoin by participating there, right? So the whole product market fit was there after a while, and it was even bigger than a lot of people thought, right? So you can argue we don't need any of that. You can choose not to use it, but the market and the community made a decision collectively, right? And that we can tell from the results, there was so many new BRC20 or all the other kind of Bitcoin native assets being minted, being inscribed, being traded, NFT assets being, they surpass the trading volume there.
And many others. And top projects have moved over to it, like what Yuga's done and what On-Chain Monkeys have done.
Yep.
We've talked about that on the show.
And now let me kind of answer your question about Bitlayer. Yeah. We had a lot of talk about the background.
Absolutely.
So for me to start Bitlayer was because I saw a lot of asset protocols on layer 1 already there. Cassie said he wants to start Rune, which is more technical, elegant protocol since last September in Singapore. Well, I live in Singapore, by the way. I met Domo, Cassie last year. I learned a lot from them. But my mind should start shifting, okay, the Bitcoin ecosystem really to grow and scale in the long run, we need either off-chain protocol solutions or layer 2. right? And my background building, doing ecosystem building for Polygon, and I saw a lot of, interesting Ethereum layer to like Arbitrum Optimism, and my friends still working there, full time. I learned a lot from Ethereum, and I think Bitcoin could have a very good, interesting layer 2 ecosystem, right? So essentially, it's very important. And as we start doing research about what's existing technology, what's available, what can be done, what are the kind of remaining questions, why there's no like 20, 30, even 100 Bitcoin layer 2 in the past, what happened, right? So we realized, okay, there's two problems. One, there's a bunch of sidechain, right? You just through whatever Bitcoin bridge, asset bridge from Bitcoin layer 1 to the sidechain. But the sidechain doesn't necessarily inherit the Bitcoin security. So for people who don't really trust this sidechain, they don't like to bridge, right? They don't like to when things happen in the sidechain, your asset cannot exodus, right? Pull back to Bitcoin layer 1. So that's a key difference. We want to build a Bitcoin security equivalent layer 2. Users can chip in and pull out the assets seamlessly, just like a rollup. That happened in Ethereum already, but because of Bitcoin, the architecture is fundamentally different. There's no tooling completeness. There's no smart contract, right? So you couldn't do that, right? So we saw the white paper BVM, right, with this very interesting idea came by this gentleman from Germany, Robert Linux. He came up with this model with logic gateways using the existing Bitcoin scripting language to build that, right, for verification and proof. So for us, it was like, wow, it's interesting. Because there's two things, very, very beautiful design about this white paper, like BVM. One, it doesn't require soft fork or hard fork or any BIPs. So for the people who know about the history of Bitcoin, it's just a freaking pain in the ass and it takes forever to get a BIP approved because there's a lot of politics going on. The miners don't get it. It takes really many years of mindshare to understand what's the pros and cons, and then eventually get it passed through, right? Taproots, it took them 3.5 years to get the upgradation. For us to have another upgradation or even hard fork or soft fork, it will be detrimental to the network even. It happened with history on BSV and BCH, right? So I don't think people want another hard fork, right? So BVM using existing scripting language to allow people to do that, it's very exciting. That's the reason we start that. I quickly reconnect with the guy who I know, the best engineer in Asia, who I know since 2021. That's kind of why we start the journey, right? Because, with the best engineers, with aligned technical innovation and a vision, with that we can grow very fast. We've been growing very fast in the last 6 months from just literally 2 of us, now over 55 people now. We raised our seed round quite quickly and successfully back.
Like OKX Ventures, who's been a big supporter of the Bitcoin ecosystem.
Yes.
Yeah. Lots of great stuff coming up too. I mean, you have your mainnet and you launched your first NFT, right?
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, since we're talking to the NFT guru here.
Yeah. Let's get into the NFT side.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's Automil's protocol assets, right? It's inscribed on Bitcoin layer 1, will be eventually on our layer 2. And kind of
Lucky Helmet?
It's called Lucky Helmet. Kind of just a random name, nothing very technical, nothing very academic. We try to make it down to the earth for people to understand what is a helmet, why it's lucky, right? Because by holding that asset, you potentially, not 100% guarantee, potentially can get interesting additional assets with airdrop from our ecosystem, right? You will be part of it as an OG, considered as an OG. By holding that, it's a 5K series, not ridiculously huge supply. And for people who hold that, like that wallet, interact with many other ecosystem, protocols like our DEXs, our restaking protocol, our perpetual DEXs, they have additional yield, additional priority, additional benefits. So it's additional utility on our ecosystem, right? So we want to do that, always having fun. So why helmet, right? If you ask me, it's because from the project design side, Bitlayer with BVM, with the things we're trying to build technically, we want to be the Bitcoin engine. Bitcoin has been slow. Bitcoin didn't innovate. So I personally, as a very big race car fan, we want to be the engine, right, for Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been a slow car. And we choose the color, orange color, literally same color, this color code from McLaren.
Earlier you were saying this is you downplayed this, but there's a lot of thought that's gone into these helmets.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah.
I want to make it so dumbed down, easy to understand. It's obvious. Come on, it's a helmet, right? You can read that. Just 1 second, you can understand it's a helmet. So it's very simple, but there's a lot of thought behind that, right? Yeah. But the whole story behind that is basically one build engine. It's an orange color. I'm a McLaren fan. Subjectively, right? You know, some people like it, some people don't like it. Some people are Red Bull fan.
Well, when you live in Singapore, you got to be into racing, right?
Yeah, Formula One every year in Singapore is best, night race around the world. I've been there 7 times. Every year it's been a great journey. After Token 149, right? You had a good time with a lot of old crypto friends. But McLaren is a very good, race car brand. That's the only brand with this color, the orange color. That's why we feel like it's interesting. So I feel like everybody could be a driver for the ecosystem for Web3. You need to drive safely, security first, right? That's our first principle. You need what? You need a helmet.
I love it.
The helmet, right? So that's the reason behind that.
Cool. Well, that's one part of some of the unique ecosystem building you're doing. Using a lot of your experience and what you've learned at Polygon, and through all the different investments you've done. But the other part is, of course, you need an ecosystem incentive program, right? Every good L1, L2 needs an ecosystem incentive program. And you have a fun one you're calling Ready Player One.
Yep.
So maybe you can break that down for us too?
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for the question. First of all, we learned from a lot of the other existing successful ecosystem player, right? Some other chains have been very interestingly engineered some kind of incentive program. Some of the playbook has been pretty successful. Quickly, very effectively, bring a lot of developers and users on board. So we learned that from other ecosystems, including Blast, and now with Solana, a few others. So we want to attract a lot of the existing proof-of-stake ecosystem developers, like Ethereum Layer 2s, even Solana, a few others, by providing them proof-of-stake, even compatible, programmability, together with Solana VM and Move VM in the future, right? This incentive program with Ready Player One is for the people to be first mover, right? You always want the little kind of kick, right? It's just like we're saying, we are building an engine for Bitcoin, right? We need this first boost, right, to initiate. So this is a kind of initiation for launching our ecosystem as a fast car, right? We want to speed up further and further, but in the beginning, from idle to speed up, we need this program as an engine, right? So Ready Player One, we are generously giving up almost 5% in total supply of governance token to the ecosystem builders. As a first batch, I think that's pretty helpful. We are in talks with a lot of interesting builders who really want to stay with us long term, not just be the bounty hunters. So people come to us, they're not going to by default get the token, right? We have our ecosystem leaderboards with very fair, transparent, but very clear rule set. They need to provide value. We need to know what they're doing. There definitely needs to be a real builders, not like some potential rug puller, right? All kinds of things. And also when they provide real on-chain, transactions, liquidity, and a few other things, we're able to support them based on the on-chain data and so on and so forth. So it's performance and data driven, and we are willing generously provide value and rewards to the good projects, right? I think that's the feedback we want to create. That's what Arbitron did very well with GMX and Gains. That's Polygon did quite well with QuickSwap. That's Solana did quite well with a lot of the top projects, with Solana DXs. We saw that with Blast as well. They generated a lot of hype from the community. We try to be careful, right? Not giving too much random token to some bounty hunters, which, just created essentially sell pressure, which is not good. So yeah, that's pretty much it about Ready Player One program.
Exciting stuff. And we'll get more into the roadmap on this journey because we're going to Hong Kong next, which I'm really excited about. I've never been to Hong Kong, nor is Richard.
Okay.
He's not on this show because he lost his voice, but I know he'll get it back before we get over to Hong Kong. But in the meantime, let's just talk about this region briefly.
For sure.
Every time I've been in Dubai, you've been here too.
Yes.
And I know you have family in Singapore, and it's a big deal for you to make all these trips to this region. Mm-hmm. Why do you think the UAE is so important?
Absolutely. First of all, UAE is the center of the world, time-wise, geographically-wise, and so on. Dubai as a city has been very innovating about the policy. They have the VERA, a few other kind of registration jurisdiction that are very pro-crypto, crypto-friendly. A lot of companies register here with a license. Like, that's all public information. I'm learning from all the kind of events, all kind of people and experts, right, that shared it with us. That, by the way, we are very excited to partner with Dubai Blockchain Center. Dr. Marway is the man, right? He has been helping us quite a lot throughout all the Dubai trips. I think Dubai has very interesting advantage, being the center of the world, being very open-minded, and sitting on the giant shoulder of Abu Dhabi and a few other interesting capital city in the Middle East region. And there's a lot of good talents just basically pouring into the city, right? It's very global, has people from all over the world. Definitely, they took some benefits because of the unfortunate geographic reasons, right? With some war, proxy war and so on. A lot of good talents didn't live in Dubai, now just gather together. It's so easy to meet a lot of people from all over the world. Token 24/9 Dubai this week has been very, very effective, meeting a lot of top KOLs, builders, investors. For us, it's very important. We don't want to be only Asia-driven. Last year in BRC20, 60% of trading volume of BRC20 are essentially just Asia, East Asia, right? China, Southeast Asia, and so on. I'm Chinese, living in Singapore for 4 years already. I know South Asia, especially Vietnam, Philippines, Malaysia quite well. We have colleagues over there, Thailand as well. UAE has been a very important market, right? As a region, it's not just as a country, and as a region, it's the center of the Middle East region across, and it covers kind of Qatar, Saudi. I'm very looking forward to your event a couple of days later in Riyadh. So I think UAE is very strategic for a lot of the Web3 projects, right? For any project who wants to go global, wants to be decentralized community, tap into different region, it's just simply very silly and even stupid to say we don't need a UAE, right? It's a very strategic
knows more about what you're up to.
You talk about Hong Kong, right? I will get you around. I know Hong Kong very well.
Can't wait.
Yes, Hong Kong, by the way, have a lot of exciting news, recent news. They just approved the Bitcoin ETF and Ethereum ETF officially. So the Hong Kong government is being, I don't know, it's competition or French, collaboration. UAE government and Hong Kong government has been very helping each other with aligned agenda of pushing Web3, pushing crypto in the adoption.
So this road trip of ours and this series is really synergistic in that sense. So we chose these two places to do some initial content together, and we'll dive deeper into the roadmap and how folks can get involved on the next episode of this series. But in the meantime, where do people go to learn more about Bitlayer and dive down the rabbit hole?
Yeah, I think the best way is to follow us on Twitter. We try to share as much information as possible on Twitter. There's a lot of information actually every day we're tweeting. There's a lot of events going on. There's a lot of AMAs. And of course, more importantly, there's a lot of important announcement in terms of Ready Player One, in terms of ecosystem partnership, in terms of the concrete, long, well-thought technical articles and information we're sharing. We're talking about DLC, discrete log contract technology. We're talking about BitVM, which we're working on as one of the first Asia team, probably top 3 in the world, working on that. Not just saying and waiting, but actually working on that. So that's kind of the best way to stay on top of what's going on. Telegram and Discord is another channel.
And you're also on Twitter or X. I'll never get that right, but
I keep saying Twitter. Yeah, it's X.
Yeah. What's your X handle?
It's called Charlie Who Sats. I try to be as much active as possible as well. On average, I'm on Twitter Space once a day, sometimes even 3 times a day. We get invited by a lot of media partner, ecosystem partner, and we sometimes even just improvise. We feel like we have something to chat about. You just get on Twitter, X Space.
Yeah, and you've had some really interesting, longer threads on where the ecosystem is at and your thoughts over the last year or two that I really enjoyed. So this has been great. On the eve of the halvening, this has been a really special conversation for me, and I'm just so excited about Bitlayer and what's to come. We're very selective with our partners and our sponsors, and for me, this was a no-brainer to work together and make sure the world.
Hey everyone, this is Charlie from Bitlayer. I'm super glad to have one of our investor, very good friend, one of the top KOL from Japan, Joe, and to sit next to me. Hey Joe, how are you doing?
Very good, very good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the invite.
Oh, thank you for coming over. It's quite it takes some efforts to come over to our investor night in a very interesting club, my club golf in Dubai. How is the week so far in Token 2049?
It's been quite hectic in many ways.
Yeah.
Flooding and everything, but super excited about the people coming over to Dubai because I'm based in Dubai.
Oh, yeah.
And also, I'm pretty happy Charlie's doing this great project with a great team.
Really appreciate the support and yeah.
And narrative-wise, is quite a focus too. So you have a lot of attention.
Yeah, you have been doing a lot of video content for many years, right? So from previous cycle till now, you probably see a lot of interesting narrative. How do you see this Bitcoin narrative now? You're being pretty active in investing in us and a few other projects as well.
Yes, a lot of people, still not sure if this is long-lasting or not, but I see very, very strong interest. And then the Western investors now following.
Yep.
So I think not just interest, but actually money is really flowing into the Bitcoin layer 2 or its ecosystem.
Yeah, well, we got a lot of attention. A lot of builders, are talking with us, trying to deploy our chain. We launched our mainnet last week. We're getting a lot of good KOLs and influencers and talking with us as well, trying to get into the whitelist of the OG Pass, which are dropping right now, and also a lot of other upcoming good news. Yeah. Well, is there any comments about the things you see in the Bitcoin space that you feel can be improved, like from your perspective?
Yeah, I think today it's actually the Merlin just launched a token.
Yep.
But I think what we are expecting is a lot bigger than just the initial launch of the Bitcoin Layer 2 or side chains. We haven't really seen much going on yet, but I'm pretty sure that a lot of Bitcoiners interested in using, their tokens for DeFi and some other stuff because they haven't really no choice doing anything else.
There's not too much adoption in Bitcoin, right? Besides kind of mining and sitting there in a cold wallet, right? That's kind of the goal and a tech vision for Bitlayer to unlock the TVL liquidity from all the existing Bitcoin holders and for yield-bearing assets, right? And also bring the DeFi adoption to Bitcoin.
Yeah, and also, this Bitcoin Layer 2 ecosystem narrative is the power shift to the Asia also.
Absolutely, right? I think there's good opportunity for us to go to Japan, in Korea, and also East Asia markets. Very looking forward to all the upcoming Japanese conference in IVS, WebEx. We're talking to some good community there. You'll be there, right?
For sure.
We'd love to, follow you, be our leader and guide us what's going on in Japan. I think it's a very interesting market which is willing to be untapped, right? I heard there's quite a good amount of Bitcoin community in Japan and pretty interesting. A lot of OGs there.
And also a lot of people know you.
Oh, really?
Charlie, right?
Okay. I've been working hard, but I also get to know a lot of people in the last couple of years. But once again, thank you very much. Really appreciate to have you on our journey. I cannot describe more how grateful to have you, and you've been very helpful to us already. Thanks a lot, Joe.
I'm pretty happy to support you.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you. Hey, everybody, this is Charlie from Bitlayer. Glad to have Jason to sit down with us. Jason, how are you doing this week?
Doing well.
How is your Token 2049 week so far?
It's been epic. Epic on weather level, work level.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a challenging but a sign of high conviction week, right? Since coming over for our investor night event. So how is it going with Credible and with Bitcoin ecosystem?
To be honest, it's been overwhelming. Look, for what we're trying to do is democratize RWA. And everyone else is focused on tokenizing RWA. We're focusing on decentralizing RWA.
Interesting. Yeah.
So for us, it's taking the veil off of traditional asset management, putting it on chain, providing governance by the community, the investors, transparency, liquidity, and access, which is quite different from the traditional tokenized fund.
Right.
So for us, our principles and our business model completely aligns with Bitcoin liquidity. The principles behind Bitcoin, the principles of DeFi.
Yeah. How do you see Bitcoin ecosystem play a role for this interesting new DeFi primitive compared to Ethereum?
To me, to be honest with you, I think it has the opportunity to build deeper liquidity pools in the Ethereum ecosystem.
Yep.
And I'm actually surprised looking back that Bitlayer wasn't born like 5 years ago.
Well,
And
the technology was not 100% ready,
right?
And
But I think it's time, and I think it's the evolution. And it wasn't because we've gotten so much smarter and better at building deeper liquidity pools, and building kind of broader active communities. So I'm super excited about the next 6 months, Bitlayer's launch.
Yeah.
What's gonna,
Exactly.
how you're building the ecosystem next 2 years, man, 3 years.
Yeah.
Like, just to be part of it and collaborate across the portfolio of companies that you guys are building is pretty phenomenal.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we are launching our mainnet just last week, being so far a lot of attention from the developers. Glad to have a good project like Credible and a few other DeFi primitives already in the pipeline deploying. Community has been growing very fast, almost like 20% a day. People are interested in the new assets, new primitive, new applications you can use for trading, for lending, for all kinds of things. Today is literally right. I think 12 hours later we have the halving, right? So it's a very interesting, exciting moment. We have the Room protocol on Bitcoin Layer 1 coming up on other ways, new asset protocol, new asset classes. It's going to be a lot of new users talking about Bitcoin, talking about the new asset class, bridge to Bitcoin Layer 2, use our Bitcoin, trust minimized bridge, use all kinds of interesting dApps like Credible and so on our ecosystem, and potentially get a good yield, and transaction proof will be verified on Bitcoin Layer 1 with our BVM. So that's pretty exciting. We're getting some really interesting investors on board this week. I would love to share the news later on soon. And I think the ecosystem program, Ready Player One, you guys already applied, right?
Yep.
This is something very exciting to provide, additional yield and liquidity and incentive for the community members, for the users. So absolutely stay tuned. For people who are interested in Credible, how can we connect with you guys?
Visit our website, credible.io, or on our link to us on Twitter, Credible DeFi.
Awesome. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate you coming over.
Pleasure, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey guys, this is Charlie from Bitlayer again. Glad to have Paul, also our investor in Bitlayer, all the way from America, New York City, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Glad to have you. Thank you for coming over.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Yeah. So how's your Token 2049 week so far?
It's been a great event. I mean, the environment's been really nice. People have been very excited, and Bitcoin is doing really well from a macro perspective.
Yep.
So it's good to be here.
Yeah, we are literally in the halving day, huh? Next 12 hours, we have the halving. Yeah. We have Room protocol launching. Tomorrow morning, probably a lot of people going to hatching, doing inscription, on-chain. Pretty exciting time. So
Absolutely.
How do you think about Bitcoin ecosystem, all the infrastructures so far?
I'm super excited about Bitcoin broadly. It reminds me a lot of kind of how Ethereum did in 2015, where it's a lot of innovation happening, a lot of exploration. People aren't really sure what works, what doesn't work, but the broad consensus is everyone's very excited to be building on Bitcoin, seeing what's possible. And I feel like it's just a Cambrian explosion of really new technologies being formed, new communities being formed, and this could really change crypto broadly and then ultimately society broadly. So very excited about that.
Very well said. Yeah, thanks. Absolutely. It's definitely a very exciting year to really see the Bitcoin DeFi, all kinds of adoption, finally go back to the mother chain, to the ultimate, most secure chain of Bitcoin, right? Where that's kind of the goal of our technical vision as one for Bitlayer, trying to build the trust minimized bridge, the BVM, Bitcoin verification to allow all kinds of adoptions to come happening in Bitcoin and eventually verified on Bitcoin Layer 1, right, for the security reason. Yeah, so I think this is definitely a very interesting week so far. We get a lot of good momentum. I was basically attending Bitcoin Mixer, building event, a few other good events together with Paul and other friends. And we're right now sitting in the very good golf club in Dubai, in having our investor in night. Yeah. So, final words to our community member in Bitlayer.
You should just be excited. You're being Charlie's doing a lot of good work, and a lot of stuff happens behind the scenes that people don't see. But he's a very hardworking, genuine guy, and
Thanks.
He's a great person to lead a great project.
Yeah. And Paul has been a very phenomenal, helpful investor and friend. Super glad to have you on board. And let's keep on doing this together. Thank you.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, pleasure. Thank you.
Great.
Hey, everybody. How are you doing? This is Charlie. We are in the Token 24 main event. with the man from Dubai, Dr. Marwan from Dubai Blockchain Center. Super glad we get a moment with him privately, although with a lot of people here. So, how are you, Dr. Marwan?
Amazing challenge.
Yeah, great to have you. Yeah, it's a little bit of challenging week because of the flood. We couldn't get you in our event, but glad to have you here. As we see, we saw a lot of movements with Dubai, all the builders coming here. I'm just curious, how do you expect this week in Token 2049?
It's already blowing my mind. I think even before the main event started, even with all the floods, the turn up is amazing, the energy is amazing, everybody's positive, and everybody is looking forward to what crypto can bring, not only to the region, but worldwide. I think
exactly.
Layer 2s on blockchain, all this.
For sure.
Excitement about Bitcoin is blowing my mind.
It's a great timing, right? We're literally witnessing a history, right? Another halving cycle. A lot of things happening. I heard a lot of good things from the Ordinals meetup yesterday. A lot of people preparing for the Room protocol. ETF just got approved from Hong Kong a couple of days ago, right? So Ethereum, BTC as well. I'm curious, how do you think about from Middle East region? How the builders think about later this year? What other innovation can be cultivated here?
I think we're very excited about a number of technologies. One of them, of course, building the Bitlayer on layer 2 Bitcoin. This is amazing. Of course, all the ordinals and NFTs on Bitcoin is amazing. Deepin is amazing as well. RWA is super exciting, especially for here where real estate capital the world, and we'd love to do a lot of projects in the real world assets, whether it's commodities, we're a commodity capital of the world. We have Dubai Multi-Commodity Center, which is amazing. But again, tokenization will bring new kind of liquidity to these kind of projects.
Exactly,
I love it.
Amazing, So that's what we're trying to do on Bitlayer. We talking with a lot of real-world asset protocol already that have a very interesting innovation. Deepin, you mentioned. There's a lot of Deepin innovation happening with IoT, with decentralized GPU. Some of them wants to build a Bitcoin layer 3 on top of us. That's what are we going to deliver as a Bitcoin kind of Bitcoin stack. We're launching our mainnet last week. So far, we met over 20 teams in Dubai that are interested in deploying on Bitlayer. Would love to explore more with Dubai Blockchain Center. Hopefully, even hire somebody boots on the ground, right? After this week, I think there's a lot of good talents here. We need to work with the locals, work with Dr. Marwan and the team here. And I think that the opportunity is tremendous. Hopefully, also bring the people from Middle East to South Asia, right? We're pretty strong in South Asia, in Singapore, very well connected there. Backed by the best VCs in Singapore. Hong Kong, we go in there as a title sponsor for the BTC Asia. So I think the synergy between the South Asia and the Middle East, a lot of the trading, a lot of the collaboration is already getting stronger and stronger.
Even on the government level, right now we're thinking of doing this bilateral agreement with different regions in Asia. And this would be amazing for passporting. It would be amazing for cross-border projects. It would be amazing for even talent from both regions. And then we've known each other for a while, and we live out of Dubai and Singapore, all over the place. So it is really a match made in heaven, and I think it's a no-brainer to do these kind of collaborations. And you guys seeking talent here in Dubai, and
for sure. I see a lot of I saw a lot of talents here. Some of them are very good at marketing, good at BDs. That's kind of what I see the missing gap on the Bitcoin ecosystem. That very focused on tech, a lot of engineers, not too much storytelling in terms of how to get a narrative out to the normal mass adoption. The Bitcoin DeFi is our focus. Most of the DeFi mindshare is still on the Ethereum. We are EV compatible, so it's relatively easy to migrate those Ethereum builders to Bitcoin, but people just don't realize the potential. So gradually, we're going to see that happening. Actually, some of few DeFi protocols, they're based in Dubai. They're full-time based in Dubai. They are on Bitlayer already. So I think there's going to be more coming. So what we can help is we access to a lot of Asia whales, big liquidity provider. So they can have good synergy with Middle East builders, platform like the Dubai Blockchain Center. Maybe we can do some online hackathon later this year, right?
We actually continue to do hackathons, meetups, events. So during talking, we had 3 different events in the Museum of the Future.
Okay.
One is the Shard.
The Shard, with the speaker.
And then the day after that, we had VitaDAO.
VitaDAO.
The day after
Network
that,
state.
we had Machines Have Eyes as well.
That's for AI, right?
For AI. So
Yeah.
across all the technologies, We support the ecosystem here. Hackathons, workshops, everything that can make crypto succeed. We are here to make happen.
Awesome. From all the events you see, like what are the biggest trends you feel most bullish this year?
I think across all kind of sectors within the crypto ecosystem, we'll see innovation, and this is what's amazing about this. But I think for me personally, I'm more excited about Bitcoin technology,
Absolutely,
as well as real world assets. And I think they come
for
together,
sure.
it's even important.
I think that's one of the, beside Bitcoin DeFi, that's the second biggest narrative this year. Bring real world assets on Bitcoin network, right? Putting the real asset on the most secure, decentralized network in the world, right? Now is halving. What else can be better, right?
Yeah. Perfect timing. I think your organization had an upstart. But right now, it's the right timing for it.
For sure, yeah. Any words for the people from our audience, like from Singapore, from South Asia?
Come to Dubai. Habibi, come to Dubai.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you. This is Dubai Inc. We run as a business and we'd like to support you on this.
Awesome very much. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, Josh. Nice to meet you. Yeah. How are you doing?
Very good. How are you?
Yeah. How's the week so far in Dubai?
Wow. So generational rainstorm. There's that. But the events actually have been really, really good. Meeting a lot of really great people.
Yeah.
Just kind of starting to dig into Token 2049.
Exactly.
And obviously, we started talking. Tell me a little bit about Bitlayer, about what you're doing.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, Bitlayer, we're one of the first Bitcoin security equivalent node, layer 2. Focus on research. We're launching on mainnet this month. A lot of developers are interested in working with us. A lot of exciting stuff going on. We just partner with Dubai Blockchain Center and also trying to tap in to provide value in Middle East region. And I heard you have an interesting crypto law firm in LA. We have quite a lot of exposure in LA as well. Framework Ventures, our leading investor, they're based in LA. We learned a lot from Edge NFT. I went there many times in LA. I'm going back this year again. So tell me more about the legal stuff you're working on.
Absolutely. So we're about a 50 attorney law firm. We're national, headquartered LA, New York, and Chicago, other concentrations, a few other places.
Nice.
We tend to focus on emerging areas of industry and technology. I lead our distributed ledger tech practice. I have somehow got a somewhat sick understanding of the underlying technology, structure, architecture.
Nice.
Against a background of being a securities attorney, IP attorney, so we kind of make things work.
Yeah. How do you think about post-halving and post-ETF on Bitcoin? Like, what's the legal framework would look like?
Yeah. So, the ETF framework is pretty much set for Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to move all that much. It's nice that it's established.
Right.
Somebody was asking me about the ETH ETF.
Yeah, which is upcoming potentially.
I think we're at least 18 months away.
Okay.
The U.S. election, I think, is going to get in the way of everything. And then there's much confusion now over validating nodes and exactly what that means.
Yeah, with us focused on Bitcoin ecosystem, I guess it's much more clarity, right?
No, absolutely. I mean, from the ordinals perspective, as long as you've got the indexing, that kind of makes it work so you can stitch the things together so you can get more in.
We were quite early on ordinals last year. We in the deep dive ordinals community. We built the ordinals community in kind of Asia. We are sponsor of Ordinals Asia Summit next month. We are compatible as layer 2. We compatible all the ordinals assets on layer 1.
So
bridge to us.
What kind of use cases are you seeing in terms of how people are using it?
I think definitely on the DeFi side. Bitcoin DeFi is a huge narrative this year. A lot of TVL can unlock, from the zero interest kind of risk, Bitcoin native assets now to a yield bearing, Bitcoin DeFi. That's a huge narrative this year. We saw a lot of stablecoin protocols, lendings, restaking protocols on Bitcoin ecosystem now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you mentioned, do you have a native token that's kind of coming out with that?
Yeah, we have a governance token which coming later this year. We're talking to a lot of the top exchanges, including like public sale platforms.
Okay, makes a lot of sense. Dude, great meeting you.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Josh. Let's catch up in LA.
Yeah, definitely.
Looking forward. Come on. Hey guys, this is Charlie again. I'm in the M2 booth, one of the most successful, popular licensed exchange in the Middle East region. I'm with my good friend from the M2 team. How's it going?
Everything's good. I'm Joey.
Joey, how's it going? Super glad to went to your event last year in Abu Dhabi and see you in the booth today. How do you like this week so far, like Token 2049?
It's quite busy, but it's very, very great. I met many of my friends, many of potential clients, partners. It's great. And M2, pay attention to M2. We're going to be very soon.
M2 is great. That's one of the most anticipated and fastest growing exchanges in the Middle East region, right?
Thank you.
For anybody who wants to tap into the Middle East, I think that's the basic platform.
If you have just came to me if you have any ideas.
Yeah, we as a Bitlayer, we're launching tokens soon. I think we should chat soon. Yeah.
Sure. No worries. Yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.